Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. And on today's episode, we sat down with manager Stevo Dingle, discussing managing QC's OG Parker and Collision, coming off a hit record with OG Mako, and laying down the blueprint to being a successful manager. You're now tuned in to the IdOMUSIC podcast, and I'm sitting down with Stevo Dingle. Is that how I say your last name?
That's how you say it.
All right, here we are. Better known as Stevo, manager, brand strategist, marketing, creative, just a pioneer in the city of Atlanta, in my opinion, or on your way to becoming a pioneer.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
Sorry, I told you I'm a little off. It's Sammy, everybody.
We're good.
We're back at it. So excited to have you here. We met recently after I've been following you on Twitter for too many years. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about your journey and who you are for those people listening that don't know. Okay?
Yeah. I guess if you know, or at least slightly familiar with me, like currently, I'm saying everybody knows me for managing artists and producers.
Definitely.
Most popular, OG Mako is probably what I'm known for. But currently, I got the producer OG Parker. You know, Walk It Talk It, Pills and Automobiles, Chris Brown, Slippery Migos, etc. And then new artist QC Collision. So that's probably, I'm saying, if you have the basis, the summary of what Stevo does or have done, those three things probably what I'm most known for.
So Atlanta, we talked about this when I first met you. I'm like, I don't meet a whole lot of people from the city doing things, that aren't the artists.
Right.
You see, of course, like a lot of artists coming out of Atlanta or saying they're from Atlanta, whatever.
Right.
Neither here nor there. But you're from the city, and I am, so that's like a special place in my heart. And then you also went to college out here. You went to Clark.
Yeah.
Shout out to the AEC.
All day long. All day long.
Shout out to HBCUs.
Yeah, period. Yeah, definitely.
So what did you gain from being in school and getting into this music industry? Because we talked a little bit about it off the record, but what was it for you about attending Clark? How do you think that even propelled you to where you are now, if it did?
Yeah, you can even take it before that, because
the
thing about me, like, I was born on Washington Road, but then my parents moved to Henry County. Then they split. My dad moved back to Southwest Atlanta, basically by Greenbrier. But that back in my house I grew up in first, because my cousin lived there when we left. And then he got his own spot.
Oh, right around the way. My grandparents' house is right over there by Greenbrier.
Yeah, I was Camp Creek and Washington Road, right at Washington Manor, that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But, so like then I played basketball in high school, so it was like you have a foundation of like playing basketball, and you learn to drive, you go to prime time over here, or figure eight over here on this side of town, or skate zone on the south side. You're just bouncing around.
Yeah.
So when you have that foundation, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a cool kid, but so you build relationships just from being around.
Right.
So that's from Henry County to Clayton to Fulton.
Yeah, you really moving in
right.
Yeah.
So and that's just who you are.
Right.
Like, and then I go to college and Clark Atlanta, so I already have like a foundation for where I am in school. So I'm seeing people come to Morehouse, Spelman, CAU, who I've known for you can almost say 8-10 years from middle school on. So I never was the person to say I'm too cool to know the nerd, the artsy kid. I was like, I'm cool with everybody.
Right.
So I always knew how to work a room, how to network by default, etc. So when it came to my junior year or senior year, I can't remember, 2011. Yeah, just I guess junior year. That's when I got into like blogging, and later on that year, 2011, 2012, I got my first artist. But staying home is just that foundation of relationships, and Atlanta's like 1 degree of separation.
Literally.
So when I met somebody at school, if they went to McNair or MLK, I could say, oh, so-and-so. And it just helped build relationships that I use still to this day. So
then even beyond that, being at a HBCU and seeing, because what I told you, I went to Howard, and so I saw like Atlanta people coming up to, or they saw us coming up to DC, and then all of them came down here. So you got the DMV, this like huge network there, and just networking with people, that's essential. I think Atlanta, we have that like spirit about us where we're able to work any room anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
So you've only had I would say like a short stint in the music industry so far. It's been about 5 years since you've started like moving.
Right.
But you've accomplished a lot, in my opinion.
Thank you.
So you started off blogging like me. When music blogs were like just getting a buzz, like the era of like music blogs, I guess, right? How was that time important for your journey now? Like, even being exposed to certain artists,
Right. I think I jumped in at the peak of it. So
Okay.
I think blogs started like 08, 09.
Yeah.
So that was like my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
But I started in 2011.
Okay.
So that's when like Hustle Girl and Karen Civil and I forgot what I said always not BET, Complex and Fader.
Yeah.
But because that's when a lot of magazines went digital.
Exactly.
So they had to get digital sites. They wasn't just the paper, the magazines. But yeah, when I was introduced like to Greenmont Park, which is the blog I blog for, which is an Atlanta-based blog, like I always thought whenever I jump into whatever said industry, I need to fill a void. So Greenmont, like I didn't know what Hustle Girl looked like, and I didn't know what Karen Civil looked like, or I even Ashley Outrageous, who I'm cool with now, but like I didn't know what they looked like.
Right.
So my thing was like, if I'm gonna work for this blog, I'm gonna be out.
Right.
Because I said that goes back to my foundation. I was already out in the city anyway. But I think I like the fact of saying, when I go to this event, I can look artists in the face and say, hey, send me your music. If I like it, I post. Like they could discuss with me or say, hey, Stevo, I sent you your music. Why you ain't post it? And I could say, they could see me and I could say, bro, I really wasn't rocking with it like that. You know, I kind of want to develop, when people see my name next to the blog post, they know it's something dope.
I'm stamping it. That's exactly how I feel about music blogging. Like, and that's why I had to step away from it a little bit. Because it's just like overwhelming almost.
Yeah,
like the amount of music you're getting and you don't want to put out something with your name under it, like that you don't really fuck with, essentially.
All right.
So I wanted to ask you this a little off topic from the Greenmont Park platform, but coming up, like your upbringing, who was like, how do you don't just really fall into music. You got to kind of have like some sort of passion for it. Do you have a past of like, were you into music? Did you play an instrument? What's it like? What's your story there?
It's so crazy. I wasn't some like musical savant, not as far as playing, but like even listening and knowing this is great. I was an Atlanta nigga. Like if you wasn't from Atlanta, I wasn't trying to hear it. Like that was like, honestly, Jay-Z's my favorite. Well, T.I. is like, he means the most to me.
Right.
But Jay-Z's my favorite. But I didn't get on Jay-Z to the Blueprint too, just because I was like,
we didn't grow.
Yeah, I was like
T.I.,
Jeezy, Gucci,
right?
You know, Rich Kids, whatever, like Young Lad, you know, people like that, like Crime Mob, etc.
Yeah,
like I was on that. But I think for my career, you ever seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I always look at that movie like how his life path just prepared him from all those questions.
Definitely.
So it's like I always love like posse themed films, cartoons, whatever. So Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or like even when you get older, the Fast and Furious. Like whenever there's a team or something and everybody has a role, I've been obsessed. Like indirectly, like that's just what I've always enjoyed all my life. So when it came to me falling into the music thing, I would automatically look at Def Jam or whoever, whatever label or Rockefeller.
Gotcha.
And I just wanted to know
how did they do that?
Yeah, who did what?
Right.
Like so that I found hip hop was the A&R. Big, his brother, you know, everybody. Well, everybody knows he got out of prison recently. But you know, like what Dame did, what DJ Clue did. You know, I just wanted to know how the pieces work. And
so you were fascinated with the business side of it too, like how, or just the
positions, like who played what positions.
Gotcha.
So, and now I can end up finding out, okay, I can't do music, I can't produce. So where do I fit in? How do I become a part of that process? And so that it was just indirect. I just wanted to know how things work, and it ended up being something I fell into.
You work with the team to this day, working with OG Parker, you and Melita. I'm sure there are plenty other links, or maybe not. You might have a small team, but how do you feel like that's important in terms of like delegating tasks within management? Because I see a lot of like co-manager or team management or anything with like an artist. It's not just like one person doing everything. That's very rare that you see it just like one person doing every single part of that. So how do you think it's beneficial to work in a team, even with your situation now?
I mean, everything I've done, it may not have been like, this is the staff.
Right.
But there's always been other people. I've never done anything
by
myself. Yeah. And me and Melita, we just got a thing going to where it's just
power team.
Yeah, it's just like when we get new clients or whatever, like not saying we don't have all the exact same clients, but when we do, we just already know we in that groove of just like, we know this gonna work. And and nobody's the same. Like I got my own way of doing things, she does, but that's what makes it work. Like we don't do things the same way, and that's why it works. But also Noah, like I said, DJ Noah's Art, that's been my partner in crime. He brought me to Greenmont, the blog. Milo Smith, he helped me find her. He found Mako because he was with Key all the time, and he brought Mako to me. And I can go down.
Down the list.
He 21 Savage, Post Malone, like he knew them first. Like,
wow.
we can just go down the line of who Noah discovered and brought
Tell
to
us
the
more
public.
about him. He's a DJ or
DJ, A&R. He's
everything.
a musical savant, man. Like his ear, he's got engineering credits on like Neo albums, Monica albums. Like he's so low key.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just I like to keep a common man perspective. Like I like to think how the majority thinks, but he's that tactical. Okay, this sound needs to go here. This sounds more like he knows all genres of music, etc. So I always that's my boy.
Your go-to.
Yeah, I keep him right here.
Homeboy.
Yeah,
I like that. You started. You mentioned Milo Smith. For those that don't know, that was the first artist that you began managing. Back in 2012.
Correct.
So, did you know what you were doing then? Was there a rule book you feel like you followed, or what were you doing at that point when you just started managing an artist?
Yeah, so like I told you, like I was studying kind of indirectly, just want to know how labels work, how management teams work. So I had that just like knowing and studying indirectly, YouTube videos, reading books, etc. And then when I was blogging, I just was seeing why certain artists were blowing up versus why other artists weren't. So you would post somebody you think was dope, but then 6 months you kind of would never hear from him again, or then you see this guy that was cool, but he would blow up. I just used to wonder like, why was that? Yeah, what was it about the business, the strategy, the quality of product that led to whatever? So I just had my own social science project of just figuring out why certain things work, like pace and building attention, appeal, et cetera, stuff like that. So when I came across Milo, I just took what I studied and I just thought like if we did it this way, I think it could work.
Right.
And I called her one day, and I just I told her I was like, I never managed before. I do this blogging thing, but I got relationships just from being from Atlanta,
right?
Like being out, knowing all the artists around here. And I'm just like, if you want to give me a chance, I appreciate whatever. She called me the next day and was just like, let's try it.
Why not, right?
Why not? And Milo was the foundation for me building all of my like business relationships in the like. I know my guy Jeff Vaughn at Atlantic, or APG, which is a subsidiary of Atlantic. I met him through Milo. My guy Double at RCA. I met him through they came down, or we flew to them or met him at South by. And they were like, yo, who this Milo girl? So like he's the one who signed Gold Lincoln because it is, the RCA.
Yeah.
So like I just got Tunji, who's at RCA now. He was at Interscope with Joe IE, and he signed Bryson Tiller and her. Like these are people who didn't have this resume then.
But it was a relationship.
It was a relationship through Milo. And now I can call them for I got this artist. Y'all can check it out. Golden Knee Beats. I can send them Parker Beats. And that was foundation through Milo.
So you're building that Rolodex early on,
Exactly. And I always tell everybody I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Without her, I wouldn't be here. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Milo.
And she's still doing her thing too. So
yeah, that's what's up. So what do you think kept you going during those times, early management days? Because I'm sure it wasn't the money early on.
Nah.
What kept you going to because if you get into management, you hear a lot of like glorified babysitting. You hear all these things about management. What is it that kept you going in such a what management is? You have to be a really selfless person, I think, to do that.
I was just, one thing about me is I don't do things I'm not good at, which could be not such a good thing at times because it keeps me from trying certain things. But when I thought I could manage Milo, I thought I could be good at it.
Right.
I was like, I know the strategy. I just was confident in myself.
Okay.
So when I believed in her, I just we could do this right. I see all these artists who I rock with that I believe in musically, but they're not progressing not musically, but in the other aspects of it. But I just thought I could do it right.
What do you think is the progression? Because a lot of times I see young managers or young artists who are it's not happening right now. In a microwave society, you just want, or you seeing somebody blow up you never heard of before, Lil whoever, and it's just what keeps you going? As somebody who you do see is talented or whatever, working with artists early. I mean, you've experienced something different though. And when we get into OG Mako, a viral hit.
Yeah.
It's a little different when you got to go off of that first hit. But for somebody like Milo, it was really organic, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, I used to throw shows too. I've done every part of it. We used to throw the craziest indie shows.
Really?
Oh my God. I always used to say, there was one show we threw with Forte Bowie, Money Making Need, Black. Before everything, Mako and Key, Milo, Alkebulan, and it was at the basement. Oh, and I always say if there was A&R from everybody, Earth Gang, everybody would got signed that night. Yeah. Because the crowd was packed. And back then, we were all, even the fans, regular people, we were all friends. So, people be performing and your friend who's be on stage dance. Like, it just,
right.
And we didn't get no video footage from it, but
Dang.
it's just stuff like that.
But that's just something you always have.
Yeah, we always have that. People just won't know now.
Yeah.
But it was just a crazy time. But it's stuff like that keeps me going.
That's
like,
real.
just know, like I said, the quality of music and believing in it. And my thing is just, I just want to do dope stuff. Like I said, I think there's a blueprint of how to be successful in the music business. I don't think it's that tough. Like, you don't have to just sit and like, I got to do something so different. My thing is, you follow the blueprint and then find out dope ways to do the blueprint, then that's how you win. Like, you got to do a rollout for your project. Like, you have to. Like, you got to do like some content pieces around your single. Now, how you create the dopest content piece around your single, how you create the dopest rollout.
Right.
And that's my thing. It's not trying to change the wheel or create a new wheel. It's how just to make the wheel with some 24-inch rims. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, the wheel's going to be there. Now, how do you just make that a dope wheel?
That's real.
The kind of thing I'm on. So
Yeah, that's
what keeps
quotable.
me going.
That's
You're just constantly doing the same thing, kind of, but doper and doper and doper.
I agree with that completely. Let's talk about, because I think many of our listeners would be curious to know. Now, you saw that major hit with OG Maco. You guessed it. It went viral in about 2014. You peaked Billboard Top 100. How did we get there? Like, how do you create that type of buzz? I mean, I know it's the song, the record, obviously, but talk about that process, and I'm sure people are like, what happened? What's going on with OG Maco? What's going on with, that relationship there? So tell us a little bit about how artists build a buzz to create that sort of fan base or that sort of hype around a record.
Right. So, this is part of my thing. Like, some things in the music business are just unexpected. So, like, you have a plan. I always say you have a plan, and the unexpected things are just, could be a boost. Kind of like when Migos had Bad and Bougie, but then Childish Gambino says what he says. Like, you can't plan for that.
Yeah, you can't plan that.
But you had a plan to push that record, and that came along with it.
Right.
So with that being said, when Noah's Ark was being, helping out Key on some management stuff, I guess Key just got cool with Maco. I don't know where they found him at, but I know he used to always hang on Edgewood.
I don't know where they found him at.
Yeah, he was a Georgia State student hanging on Edgewood, that Blue House. I don't know if people are familiar with the Blue House on Edgewood.
Yeah.
So he had his own kind of following, especially at Georgia State.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that song Road Running. And that song was going crazy.
Yes.
Because they used to throw house parties, and he had that on lock.
Yeah.
So that's all I knew of him. Like, when he told me about Maco, I looked on Twitter and I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard that song before. But Road Running, even if you know Road Running versus You Guessed It, it's kind of different vibes or whatever. So when Noah would just be like, yo, I'm going to the studio with Maco and Key. I'm going to Maco house. Maco and Key finna record. I would just be like, okay, like, all right, cool. Let me hear the music whenever you come back. So they recorded the song Give 'Em Hell and Bitch You Guessed It first. Those are the first two songs I heard.
Wow.
And we were like, when he brought it to me, I was like,
oh, something else.
Shit. I was like, yeah, this is at it. Like, I just knew it was a hit the first time I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they recorded more and more. Like, they got to like hanging around each other every day. And I never been to one Give 'Em Hell studio session. So like Noah's just constantly bringing it back. And then he was like, what do you think about them doing the tape? Like, making us a tape. So I was like, I'm down. And then I was managing Milo too. So Maco, I guess Noah kept bringing it back. So Noah, set up a meeting between me and Maco. And Maco was like, look, I had management, but I just let him go or whatever. I'm looking for new management. I know Milo went to Georgia State too. So he was like, I like what you're doing with Milo.
Yeah.
Like, we should do something.
Yeah.
Like a week, two later, started managing. So then me and Noah just sitting around, So Bitch You Guessed It ain't out. Mm-hmm. But it's so crazy. Once I decided to start managing, me and Noah, like, I would always just tweet, Bitch You Guessed It. Like, just tweet. And people would just be like, what? And we were throwing parties. Like I said, it goes back to that foundation of just who I am in general. So outside of me managing Milo, Noah had a house called the Zoo House on Hosea Williams. Mm-hmm. So we would always throw house parties over there. Noah was a DJ at a department store. So we would just play the record all the time. Like, we had the power to. Like, he was the DJ. We were popular. People would come fuck with us. So we would just mix the record in. Like, and I'm a turn-ass nigga. So I would just be like singing the words like it's been out. Yeah. And one thing I learned is if you make people feel like they're left out, I've seen people like, we played a song and people be like, man, you heard this before, man? You ain't heard it either. But they would see me like turn up and they be like, yeah, this shit hard, bro. I heard this. I'm like, it's not even out. No, you haven't. But we just, and like, I would make sure after every party, we would just be like, bitch, you guessed it. And somebody would be like, I heard that song last night. I heard the song. So then we started sprinkling out the DJs, like Genesis, DJ Peter Parker, DJ Instrumentals, like people we knew who, like, it wasn't the major clubs. It was like people who did it at Union, department store, places.
But those
like
are
that.
places that that audience needed to hear,
Right.
really. So
exactly.
that makes
So
sense.
yeah, we weren't, and I wasn't top notch. Like I don't have the connects. I didn't have the connects then that I do now.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, let me just sprinkle these little spots. So it just felt exclusive, like. And then people who saw Bitch You Guessed It and people constantly tweeting more and more people, other people felt left out. Like, what are y'all talking about? What is Bitch You Guessed It? So it got to a certain point where every party in Atlanta, kind of, because we gave it to the right DJs,
Right.
they would have it, but people couldn't get it. So what happened was we, I can't remember, I don't think it went viral yet, but so we put the tape together and we was going to drop it. Key and Mako got this thing about the number 7. So July 7th, we dropped the tape. So that's 7, 7, 14. You know, 7 plus 7 is 14. So 7, 2014. And we put together with I forgot his name, Termini Mill on Twitter or Instagram. He did the photo shoot. Cassandra got 21 Savage. She used to manage Key. So she helped out with some stuff. Then Brandon Thomas, the producer, Bitch You Guessed It and Give Him Hell. So it was like that core really put that together. And we threw release party or mixtape release party on the very next day in Metro. Was that Metro Lost?
Oh yeah,
Metro
right
Lost.
Yeah,
whole like 500 people. The venue we had sold out, and the tape just dropped the day before. So July 8th. It was like a Monday or Tuesday. Sold out, and they knew every word.
That's
and that shit was
crazy.
crazy. Like it just came out yesterday, and like we didn't put out Bitch You Guessed It as a single.
Yeah.
Like we literally sprinkled it around and Give Him Hell. We did Give Him Hell too. The Key's song Give Him Hell, but we dropped the project just like. Here you go on the 7th, the 8th. Oh my! And I'm saying we
People
didn't get
already
video
knew
footage at all, but we just like, oh my, these guys are out of here. And Key was doing this thing for a while, but it was just like to me that was a magnum opus for him too, like to just have that connection with those people and everybody know the words. So we were like, great, we about to do a Give 'Em Hell tour. We about to kill it.
True.
So constantly while this is going on, Bitch You Guessed It, that's when it's hitting viral. So it's kind of it's going crazy. And then we see Chris Brown dance to it, and then all the celebrities come. And we just like, man, we didn't plan for that, but we planned to like, okay, we need to get a tour. We need to get some merch.
That's
but
good.
what happened was Key and Mako got into it and fell out 2 weeks after.
Damn.
So it's like, that's why we had to put 2 Chainz on the You Guessed It.
Right.
And then he got with QC in a month after that kind of. So it just happened
Things
quick
were
for
just
Mako.
moving.
Yeah, and then Noah was with Key and
Yeah.
I was with Mac. So it's like we separated from that. Not me and Noah, but we weren't together on the Give 'Em Hell thing anymore. And then they took it down off SoundCloud. So like me and Noah always talk about like how perfect campaign how we did that, but
You can't
it's almost
really
like
control
non-existent.
that.
Like
Yeah.
you can't go to SoundCloud and see how it was, or like I try to tell people like I think I've tried to do research, but You Guessed It to me is the first from an artist being introduced from SoundCloud to go radio and mainstream.
True.
Like everybody had a SoundCloud.
Yeah,
Migos
yeah,
had a SoundCloud. J. Cole had a SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a new artist who you
So,
heard on.
that's real.
Take that and go to mainstream. I still say You Guessed It was the first record to do that, at least in urban.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was like we only got to live in that glory for like 2 weeks because Mako and Key fell out.
Damn.
So we didn't do a tour.
But
There was no merch.
that's an uncontrollable, like you said. And because I was gonna ask, like, how do you come back from a record like that? Like I see a lot of times an artist gets like a really, really not like a one hit wonder because I listen to Mako beyond You Guessed It, but that's just me. I don't know, like in terms of the world, like how do you come back from, or what, in your opinion, what do you think if that never happened? Moving forward, things would just been completely different.
I mean, of course they would have been completely different, but I don't know.
You can't call it.
Yeah, I can't call it if like how different things would have been.
Like, I mean, even too, you were talking about like being prepared. I guess that's more so my question.
Okay.
Being prepared coming off of a record like that, or you have this set rollout that you plan to do, or this tour that you plan to do, but like when you have something like that, do you plan? Like, what's your?
Yeah, like I said, when we were putting it all together, me and Noah's plan was even before we knew we knew Bitch You Guessed It and Give 'Em Hell because we sprinkled it around. We could see the reactions, so we were just like we could push this tape for a while. But our main concern was always Key and Mako are solo artists.
Right.
Like we know that they're not a group, but we was like if it's building this much traction, we need to do something about it. So we, like I always tell every artist, plan. I don't put a date on it, but in order to make something a hit, because a lot of people like to say songs they like are hits, and that's not the case. A hit is chart topping, like 50 million plays on YouTube. Like there's certain things that have to make something a hit.
Numbers,
metrics. So I was like, we have to give it time. Like we can't just say, oh, it's tearing up Atlanta, we good. So I always just knew it was gonna take some time, and that was our thing. That's why we was like, okay, we need to keep get to merch now.
Right.
Okay, can we plan a tour?
Right.
Okay, what's next? All right, we need to do videos because we didn't even do a video. Yeah, they did separate videos later on. So yeah, we didn't even do a video of them together. So like we just knew it was gonna take time.
Yeah.
And we just were putting all the pieces together. But before we could put the pieces together, it fell
apart.
apart.
Right.
Right.
So from a marketing perspective, because I said earlier, you really know your stuff when it comes to like marketing, brand strategy, following these metrics, studying those things, right? Talk brand strategy for the artist you represent. Like how, as a manager, how do you help expand their like fan base and grow their audience, gain more exposure as the manager? What are you doing to do that?
What makes the music industry so tough when it comes to marketing and branding is because they're people. That's what makes it so tough. But I always try to explain to the artist, like, imagine if you have like, if you're selling cookies, like just when the company of Oreos creates some cookies or whatever the overall brand who creates Chips Ahoy, Oreos, etc., Nutter Butters, whatever, like they don't have to deal with the emotions of if Nutter Butters don't sell, we're cutting it off. Like they just cut it off. They're like, it doesn't sell. Let's try something else. Or if Oreos their hit, they're gonna keep doing certain commercials, keep coming up with new ideas to present the same product.
That's real.
So the music industry, you're a product. It just sucks when if you don't work, when somebody drops you or you're not received, people take it so personal. Y'all don't really fuck with me. With a cookie, they don't gotta say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or with an iPhone or whatever product, whatever, they can't talk.
That's true.
So that's what makes it so tough. But you gotta look at them like that cookie, like that Apple product, and it's finding ways to not only their music, but what are they interested in life. Like Lil Yachty likes playing video games. He's on Twitch all the time, playing video games, talking to fans. That makes sense. Like Young Jeezy shouldn't be on Twitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Even though that's a platform to connect with fans. So my thing is taking the artists who they are and also what they're telling their narrative in their music and finding that common ground of how do we create dope content outside of the music. The music should be first.
Right.
But how do we create dope content and get fans drawn in with who you are? And that's, like I said, the wheel is still the same wheel, just coming up with, every artist is different. Yeah. So it's coming up with those ideas to present to people that are appealing and who you are. So
is there, because you still manage an artist and a producer, or artist and producer, is there a difference in managing the artist versus the producer, like working with OG Parker versus working with Collision?
Definitely.
What's the difference? Like, I mean, of course, you're obviously shopping beats versus like, you know, trying to get placements on or whatever the case may be. But what's that core difference? And is it easier to work with a producer or more difficult?
They're if you put a difficulty, they're the same work. Like one's not harder than the other. But with artists, it's just you have to worry about the overall brand, like, and then people have to like them. Like you could be an unknown producer, like, and still be lit out here.
That's true.
So that's the only difference. And not saying like Parker likes the attention. I'm gonna keep it real, but so that we do have to factor in things for that, because if he wants to be looked at as an overall brand, then yeah, we have to cater to his needs. But at the same time, his success isn't based on getting fans.
Right.
His success is based on how many placements and the hits you make.
That's
so
real.
It's still a different kind of thing. Like, I got to make sure people like Collision.
That's real.
I just got to make sure your music is dope, Parker, and we can get access to the artist or A&R, et cetera. So that's the difference, but they're still both difficult.
So I saw you guys got a few plaques.
There's a few.
For OG Parker. How did that feel, you know, to be acknowledged for all the work that you've put in? And I'm sure that wasn't just a moment for OG Parker. That was a moment for you as a manager, like really being behind the records that were produced. Yeah, like what was that feeling when you got that recognition, or is it important?
Yeah, my thing is because I've like I said, I've blogged, I've thrown shows underground. Anybody who popped out of Atlanta, really, I helped in some kind of way. Like I said, from the Blacks, the Fortes, the Earth Gangs, the Jizz, like whether it be throwing you your first A through C show, South by Southwest show, Nebuchadnezzar, even Larry June out in San Francisco. Like, we can go down the list of people we've been involved with before all that. And I mean, no, we don't. I'm not saying that's so
like,
crazy. Like, yeah, like don't thank me, but just like that's how deep it goes.
Right.
So I've done the underground stuff and I've done that, but it gets to a point now, and I still love it. I still love that foundation stage. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to throwing shows, because that was hell. But it gets to a point where you want to start putting real numbers on the board. Like it gets to a point where you want to sit in these rooms with these certain people, these presidents, these CEOs, these A&Rs, and you want to be able to be on the same level. Because at the same time, as much as people believe in themselves and you should feel confident no matter what, it's nothing like having those metrics to back it up. Like, it's nothing when Kobe goes to talk to Jordan, he can say, I got 5 rings too. Like,
right.
It's nothing like that. So with Parker and even Mackos, you guessed it, going crazy, Parker, these plaques are just like, look, we're not little dogs in this. Like, we're doing this too. Like, Parker got 3 plaques physically,
Right.
but he has 7 or 8 really. Like, he doesn't have the physical plaque for Slippery yet. Walk It Talk It's already gold. Like, he doesn't have the plaque for 100 with K Camp and Fetty Wap yet. He just got the Nikki Heaton and the 2 Chris Browns. But I'm saying we got 7 plaques total and more. I'm saying the Tory Lanez records look like it's going well right
crazy,
now.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it just helps.
So
when it comes to sitting at those tables that you could say we got
this. The paperwork to prove it. Like this, we got something to back it up, right?
Exactly.
So do you think good guys win?
Yeah, definitely.
The good guys win.
Yeah.
I saw that recently. On
Yeah,
YouTube.
I just tweeted. I mean, I think it was like 5 in the morning this morning. But it's just there's a certain level of assurance you need in this business, but you don't have to be nasty. Like, unless somebody's nasty to you first, and you can kind of, not saying you need to call them a bitch or fuck you, like,
right.
or something like that, but there's a way to stand up for yourself and still be a good person.
Yeah.
Like, and then having a good lawyer helps too. Like, let the lawyer be the asshole. Like,
yeah, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, and then a lot of times the lawyer has relationships with other lawyers. So it may look like they're going back and forth, or you may hear them arguing or something, but like, man, they be hanging out together too. Like,
right.
So like, let the lawyer discuss all that. Like,
so let me get back to the bulk of it all. You're a manager, but I know there's more to it than just management. Like, what do you see yourself doing in like 3 to, I hate that question, but it's real.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have some sort of like vision for yourself, right?
Right.
So like, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years, what do you see happening with your career?
Well, my dream wasn't always to be the best manager.
Right.
My thing was, I didn't graduate from Clark. I went 08 to 12. I took a semester off.
I see. You know, I didn't want to say that,
No,
but
it's
you,
cool.
you got it.
Because look, Diddy didn't graduate from Howard.
It's a lot of people that don't graduate from college.
They gave him an honorary degree. That's what I want to do.
I'm like, you working on that?
Exactly.
But that's what I wanted to ask too. Is school even important in this industry? Do you think, like, I mean, I know we talked about the networking part of it being like a good thing for you, but what did you study in school? Like, was it important?
I was a sociology major.
Oh, wow.
That helped me because it helps me deal with people and understand how groups of people think. Like I said, and why certain things work and why certain things don't. So that, and then like I said, that networking, it is invaluable. But I mean, I can't speak for, it doesn't matter for me.
The
like,
degree,
I'm good.
yeah.
But like I said, people know like Rachel Jackson. She's at ASCAP now, and she does stuff with DTP and countless things.
Yeah.
She was in school getting it popping. Like, she was doing Luda Day in school.
Yeah.
But she graduated. And now she's at ASCAP. So maybe it's helped her more than it's helped. I don't know. But for me, it hasn't gotten the way that I can tell.
True.
So I want to say it's not important.
But just for you personally.
Yeah, I'm good. But with that, what's my vision? Like I said, with me dropping out, I never had a mentor in it. Like I said, I just studied on my own. Like, and I found Milo, and I never interned. So I looked at the landscape and say, how do you get in if you didn't come up under anybody, you didn't intern, and I didn't graduate from college. I was like, management's my way in. So I always wanted to be an A&R. When I used to KP, Kawan Pratt, like when I used
that was our first episode.
Yeah. Oh, that's the OG. I would just listen. I told you I used to listen to nothing but Atlanta people.
Yeah.
So Outkast albums, and then eventually T.I., his name was always in there. So I was like, he's got to be the secret ingredient to all this. Like, and then later on, as I learned the business, I saw he signed Ray Cash, Yellow Wolf. I was just like, he's part of all this dope shit.
Yeah.
So I just like, I want to be that. Like, I want to be, when people open the credits and see Stevo Dingle, they're like, this album about to be fire. Like, he's a part of this. He's not letting no whack shit come out.
Right.
This is about to be dope. So really, A&R is what I really want to do. But like I said, if it leads to being a VP or president, I'll take it.
So be it, right.
But I really want to put together albums and like help the rollout. So it could be product manager too.
True.
Just like create, like, this is what we create, this is what we're selling, and be able to
Just
get that narrative across to the public.
Yeah.
So that's like my passion. So I did it with Mako's first tape. He really let me be a part of that, the OG Mako EP. And then with Collision's first tape, he let me like, I don't tell the artist what to make. We just decide on what songs, how does it tell a story, and then we present it. How do we do videos and content that lines up with that? So, and Milo helped me too. She already had a tape when I managed her, but her Pulp Fiction project, that's still, that was so dope.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very talented. So QC, that's where we at with it.
QC the lady, money on the table.
Listen, so it seems like they're doing something really special for talent, and you guys, you told me that you've been doing it for a while now, but now you're seeing, like, of course, Migos and Yachty and Lil Baby, like everybody really, like that's doing something, is pushing out a lot of stuff with QC, and that's something special to see, like all these I'll say it, Black people, you know, doing it for the culture for real. So how do you think that you guys are changing the game? Just being new to the business, especially for you, like, would you say anybody from QC is somebody like a mentor, like they're helping you direct that vision with being a part of something like QC?
I mean, what makes QC like unique and so dope to me is like, one, of course, they're Black owned. Like that's one thing. Like that's why I personally staying like so close. Is just I love the fact that Black owned. They're based in Atlanta. I mean, Coach K is from Indianapolis, but he's been in Atlanta. He's
for
like
so long. Yeah.
He said you don't think about it. He's like, I've been in Atlanta longer than here than I have where I'm from. And I'm like,
true.
Damn. Like,
true.
Okay. So like being from Atlanta, like based in Atlanta, Black owned, and then also the work is matching. It's not just an Atlanta based label by Black people. Like the work is there. The Migos are the biggest group in the world. Yachty is a brand. Sprite, Axe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it's just done Target.
Yeah.
And then Lil Baby coming from the streets who like wasn't even rapping.
Right.
And already want if not the hottest dude in the city and beyond. And it's just like, and I'm gonna say even Collision come up next, or even having Jose Guapo, Cinco, Rich, the kid, and now they had that foundation from QC.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still, and then Parker and Quay. Now you got the producer side of it. So it's just
it's different. It's special, right?
Yeah, and it's just like I don't see it slowing down at all, because even when it might have looked slow to the public, it was still things brewing to where they are now.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think it's definitely a pivotal moment, like almost how it felt when I'm sure all the labels were here in Atlanta. Like we're getting that. It feels like it's possible again. You know,
the TIGs, the QCs, Street Execs.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're all.
It feels like it's possible again, like from LaFace days to now where we are in 2018. So that's what's up. I'm happy that you're a part of that. Yeah. So I wanted to ask too, like so far, like I said, you've had 5 years so far in the business. What would you say is like your best, most memorable feeling yet? Like where you're like, okay, I can do this forever. Like this is my moment. Give him hell. That was Mako, in the beginning,
because that was that early. Like I mean, even with Milo, I knew, but like I didn't have a moment. We didn't have a moment. Like it was just like a constant ladder for her. Like I said, like 3 months in, I managed her in October. Like we just missed A3C, and I remember like, I'm saying December. I think we met with Joey IE and Tunji, and I'm saying I met Jeff Vaughn, and then that March she already got booked for South by Southwest. So that was my first time going, 2012, something like that, 2012, 2013. I met her in 2011 October. So yeah, 2012 was my first South by. That's when I met Double Derek from RCA. So it was just like gradual things were happening, and then she was doing features with people, and we were able to get certain beats from certain people. So I was just like, okay, we can do this. But getting Mako and Key and that Give 'Em Hell, and seeing how that foundation we set up launched Give 'Em Hell, which may have been Key's big, besides Guess Who Fucking Your Bitch. That's probably his biggest record. For Mako, Bitch, You Guessed It, to take off, sign him to a label. Like that just showed me like
it's possible.
And I'm saying that wasn't even like we weren't even able to fully execute what we had planned. So for a broken plan to do like that, that's still like I wouldn't be Stevo. Everybody knows if it wasn't for Give 'Em Hell, because Mako wouldn't have got the QC. Like Key wouldn't have done what he done. Then that's it. When 21 Savage was around us, then like I'm not saying we helped with that, but who knows if we weren't sitting in that house off Hosea Williams and 21 didn't come around, where would he have been? Because Noah was telling everybody this dude finna be dope.
Yeah.
And then Key was managing Key, and Noah was, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, who's this kid? And they got what they got going now. Look at 21.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that Give 'Em Hell project with Mako and Key still like up here. But Parker getting these plaques, that, like I said, that's able for like, it's
like the validation.
I don't like it's not about me, but it still gives me that kind of, that validation, those metrics to say, look, even though I've been in it 5 years, I can say, look what I've done in this 5 years.
Nah, it's impressive, actually. I commend you for like all that you've done so far. That's why I was like, we got to get him on here and talk about it a little bit. What I want to ask about Atlanta, because we're talking about QC being special. We're talking about these artists being special, you being special. What is it you think, why is it that Atlanta is pushing out all of these, like, this special music, this entertainment? What is it about this city that you think is so special to you?
Man, one thing I've said recently, I think Atlanta, just resilience. Like anything we create, like you're from here, so you can go back to Outkast, to T.I., then to Jeezy, Gucci, Snap Music.
Right.
You know, like we can just keep, but it's all so different. Lil Jon, Eastside, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Crump music, whatever. it's all, or now the singing, or no, when Young Lay and J Money,
Yeah,
that kind of swag rap, if you want
Rich
to call it
kids,
futuristic.
that futuristic.
Then now we in the kind of melodic, in which I still think Schoolie laid the foundation for that.
Definitely.
But yeah, you got like the Lucci's and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Like it all sounds so different, but it's all still so Atlanta. Like
you could just put a pin on it.
Yeah, Outkast doesn't sound nothing like Lucci. Like Lil Jon don't sound nothing like Lil Baby. Like
that's true.
Yachty sound no. Migos came out of nowhere, but so if people heard that song Hollywood Divorce, Andre said something at the end where he's like, people get up and take our stuff, but it's all good. We'll just create something else. Like,
right.
And that's how Atlanta is. And outside the music, like I said, like I was playing basketball in high school and middle school, and Atlanta's ain't but so big geographically.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get from probably Cleveland Avenue to Buckhead with no traffic in 20-25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the top and bottom. Like east side to the west side, 25 minutes, no traffic. So you can't, it's invaluable of how close we are when you grow up here, because you're going to play somebody in basketball. You're going to go to somebody's party some kind of way. So when you end up doing music or whatever craft you're in, you're going to know somebody from a whole nother walk of life. And I think our how we are geography-wise, plus just our resilience as a culture. Like I always tell people too, like when Mike Vick was here, it wasn't just he was a black quarterback, but it was his playing style that matched how he was in his prime in 04, 05, 06. This when Jeezy's popping. Mm-hmm. So we got a black quarterback who's playing like he does, who's turned, and then you got Jeezy. Like it was just lit. It was lit. So it made sense why the game used to be turned up.
Yeah.
And you could have Jeezy with. They say who that? We like. You know what I'm saying? It just, even though that was a little later, that was like 08. But you know what I'm saying? It just, when the city, all that energy matches, we just can't. That's why I want us to win the Super Bowl.
We
like,
can't.
Migos had Bad and Bougie. Future was popping.
We really dropped the ball on that
one. The Super Bowl. We was like, man, that would have been too lit. But yeah, it's just our resilience, man.
Yeah.
Just staying true to ourselves. And one thing, too, that we, especially specifically in music, we never need like confirmation from anybody else.
That's
true.
Like
DJ Yola, we probably treat him like royalty. Mm-hmm. Kilo Ali treat him like royalty. Mm-hmm. We don't need Cali, New York to stamp him. Like those are for us, and we've always. That's why I think we were talking, at the event. Mm-hmm. Like when people come from Atlanta, like that's why it means so much to us. Like, or like when people are from, we don't see a lot of people from here, but when they are, it's just like we gravitate, gravitate, and we don't care. We support each other. Yeah, the country is doing. It's like, nah, this is what we rocking with.
Right.
Like,
exactly. I didn't know what was going on in Atlanta when I was in D.C. and I was just like, oh no, they from the city. Oh yeah, we rock with them. Migos. Yeah. I was listening to them, but I'm listening to them because they from the city.
Yeah.
Like that's literally it, and they were making good stuff. So I totally agree with you. I want to ask this last thing because, or we're getting towards the end, but I think this is very important. What are some things you should do as a manager to avoid getting hoed? Like, to just put it plain and simple, like a checklist, if you would. If there's like things you should just do for yourself, because, okay, management is very selfless. Like, you're working toward helping someone else, but you still got to feed your family, yourself. Mm-hmm. You got to take care of yourself. So what are some things as the manager on the business side to avoid?
When you say getting hoed,
like
from your client
business,
or just outside
in general,
or in general?
Yeah, just in general. Wherever those bumps may come.
Yeah. A lot of times, I don't want to say a lot of times, but I feel like sometimes artists don't realize as a manager, like you don't eat or win unless they do. Like there's nothing I'm going to do that would put you in danger or like I think would cripple your career because like it's my career too. Mm-hmm. So why would I do that to fuck you up when I know it's gonna fuck me up on the back end? Mm-hmm. Like I have to move correctly in order for you to win, and therefore when you win, I win indirectly. Exactly. So that's one major. It's just constantly remind your client they like, man, come on, bro, come on, do it. Like you trip. It's just like, bro, I'm here for you. Like I'm not even people make mistakes.
Of course.
You just gotta keep reiterating that, like, bro, I'm not gonna steer you wrong, and if I make a mistake, I apologize, but I'm here to make you the best you could be because I don't win unless I do.
Exactly.
So that's just one. I know you said a checklist, but that's
the main thing. I wanted the meat of it all. Thank you. So any like leaving or last words of advice for someone who's watching or listening to this podcast who's like, I want to do. I mean, your like journey was different. Like you said, you never interned. You never quite. You didn't finish school.
Right.
But for somebody who's like, I want to manage too, and I want to see the success that you've gotten so far, what would you give to them?
I hate to be cliche, but that networker thing, But lucky for me, like I said, my life prepared me that Slumdog Millionaire thing. But it's just like form real relationships too. Like some people I meet, I won't even tell them I'm in the music. But like my lifestyle, I'm out all the time anyway. So I meet people anyway. So that just helps. So don't. I would say too, like treat everybody with respect, because as I use the example, well, just recently, like there's this girl I met when Macco had a show at the University of Pennsylvania, and her name was Africa, or her name is Africa, and I just, she's just like, hey, whatever. I don't know what she did, but I tell everybody, I'll give away my number, email, because I never know who you gonna be. Like,
Exactly.
cool, take it. I may not answer because you don't have nothing to talk about,
Right.
but I'll let you present it or whatever, because I don't want to miss a beat. But yeah, I just got her number, follow her on social media, etc. Come to find out, like, she started, she works with the guy, Fucci, I guess, Farron. So she works with him, and everybody knows how popular of stylist he is. And then now she's doing stuff with Diddy's son,
nice.
King Combs.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm saying, I remember, and I'm just like, congrats, like, but that's dope. What if I need her for something?
Exactly.
She all gonna remember I was nice, gave her my number, like, off GP.
We had that relationship.
So I would just say those relationships are invaluable. Like, be respectful. Like, you never know who someone's gonna be. Don't, you can't do nothing for me, huh? Like, no, meet them anyway, get their info anyway. And that to me, because that's priceless.
And most of your relationships, I mean, from our conversation, have come full circle anyway. So it makes sense.
Exactly. Yep.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you.
Nah, thank you, man.
What's to come for OG Parker? What we got going with Collision?
Man, them hits
Marlo.
gonna keep coming from Parker. You know that. Like I said, we sent in Patchwerk, and Block Boy JB recorded 3
Nice.
to his beat. So got some stuff with Block Boy coming. More Chris Brown. They got in sync. So that Chris Brown stuff, of course, QC. Anybody you gonna hear Quavo and Migos and Parker, Yachty and Parker, etc. Collision and Parker, more they already got songs. So and then Collision, just I'm telling you, by this summer, where Lil Baby is now, Collision, I think by this summer will be where Baby is now. Baby gonna be bigger, but where he is now, I think Collision will be around there by the summer, because that Space Cadet is
going crazy.
Yeah, it's going crazy.
Let me one last thing. Balance. How are you balancing? You have multiple artists that you are that you're managing. You have a daughter. You got some stuff to handle after this. So
Right.
like, how are you managing your or balancing your life, your artist? Like, how does that? You don't sleep? What's the?
Oh no, I sleep.
You sleep.
Trust
Look,
me, yeah.
that's what I
Known for
like. A lot of people. You be knocked out.
You're right. Anywhere. I have no shame. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. I don't care.
What's the formula? Do you have a formula to balance this all?
Nah, it's just doing what needs to be done. Like, luckily, the mother of my child is a great mom. So if something comes up, she's always like, "I got you." Like,
Right,
I understand, because I don't pay all her bill, but I'm the dad. Like,
Right.
I take care of the family, so she understands. So that extremely helps. And balance is just making sure your client knows that's what you want the best for them. Because there's times where Parker may have this and Collision have this. I got to pick one, but that's where it helps having a team.
Right.
Melita can go with Parker, and I can go with Collision.
Right.
But they both understand that I'm doing the best work for them. And they know if Parker has this placement with this person, I now got the relationship. So if Collision need a feature, I now have that relationship to help with that.
Right.
So it all intermingles. So the balance, it happens indirectly.
Yeah.
So
dang. You shared a lot. I just want to keep talking. I'm like, what else you got? I appreciate you, Stevo, for sitting down with me, sharing all of your knowledge with us. I'm sure that they'll get a lot from this. So thank you. Tell them where they can find you on social media, whatever else you got coming up. Just let them know where they can see that.
Yeah. Social media, Stevo Zone, the number 4. Stevo is STEVO.
Real Atlanta.
No second E. Yeah, I'm different. I'm the only STEVO. Nobody else matters. No.
Nobody else matters.
Yeah, and then the email, Steven with a VL, last name Dingle @gmail.com if anybody wants to send anything. Yeah, you can stay to social media. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out here. I ain't hiding. I'm out here. So you'll probably see me before I respond to email. But I'm out and about. So it's all love.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, and as always, thank y'all for listening to the IdOMUSIC podcast. You guys can find me on social media @Sammy Approved, as well as the IdOMUSIC podcast, IDM podcast on Instagram. Thank you guys. Thank you, Stevo.
All right, thank you.
Sonically superior.